Today we're going to look at sentences and sentence fragments and run-on sentences. So a sentence is going to be a group of words that expresses a complete thought. It's going to have a subject and a verb or a predicate. So looking at the first sentence, we see, my softball team practices daily because we have a tournament next week. You have a subject, the softball team, and then you have what they're doing, practices daily. You also have the why. Which is not needed. You could simply say my softball team practices and you have a complete sentence. Fragments are when some part of the sentence is missing, usually the subject or obviously the predicate. So in red, we see a sentence fragment. Practices daily because we have a tournament next week. We don't know who does it. It's missing your subject. It doesn't tell us who's practicing. My softball team also is a fragment because we don't know what they're doing. It's missing the verb. You need both together to have a complete sentence. So moving down, the other problem we have with sentences would be run-on sentences. A run-on sentences is formed when two sentences are run together, joined by a comma or by no punctuation at all. You might see comma splice on your paper. That would mean if a comma is used between two sentences, you have a comma splice. So an example is below. This is a run-on sentence and a comma splice. My softball team has been practicing daily. We have a tournament in 2 weeks. If you write like this, you've noticed the pause in the sentence. You're separating it, but you're separating it with a comma. It doesn't work that way. You need to either make two different sentences. You need to use stronger punctuation like a semicolon. You can use a comma and a conjunction. We'll look at some of those below. Okay, so if you wanted to make two sentences, my softball team has been practicing daily, period. We have a tournament in 2 weeks, period. That works. It might feel a little choppy. My softball team's been practicing daily. We have a tournament in 2 weeks. But it does work. You could put a semicolon if you feel they're related and you want to connect them. My softball team has been practicing daily. We have a tournament in 2 weeks. Semicolons can be used between two complete sentences, but a comma cannot, unless you add in a conjunction. So if you think of like fanboys, for, and, but, or, yet, so, you could put a comma between it and add your conjunction. My softball team has been practicing daily, comma, and we have a tournament in 2 weeks. You use a comma before an and or any conjunction if there's a complete sentence on both sides of it. In that case, there is, and that works properly. You also can use a subordinating conjunction, unless, until, since, when, while. This one says my softball team has been practicing daily because we have a tournament in 2 weeks. You could say my softball team has been practicing daily since we have a tournament in 2 weeks. That makes that subordinating conjunction makes your sentence a complete sentence. Otherwise, you're dealing with a sentence fragment.